Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Robin. This is Digital Wilds, and you join me somewhere over Nottinghamshire in Flight Simulator. This is quite something. This is quite amazing. They've got this. This is amazingly realistic, even if it does have a tendency, as you'll see there, to interpret things as quite bland Soviet office blocks. This is procedurally generating the world I live in at a surprising level of fidelity. You see there's little cars down there, there's houses, I mean, it interprets Buckingham Palace as a 90s office block, but you know what? I can sort of forgive that. This is probably breaking every flight rule in the book, going this close to a turbine at very low altitude at very high speed, but this really does have to be seen to be believed, and frankly, flying 8 hours transatlantic is probably less exciting for you visually. So this is really something. In case you hadn't guessed, I'm trying to find my house at the moment. I live in Sheffield, and I'm only going to live in this house for the next 36 hours, so I might as well do it now before you all find me and murder me. I'll be moved by the time this goes out. So let's fly over to Sheffield and see if we can find where I'm heading. The problem I have with this game is that the map tools are really not all that good if you're not trying to find an airport. It's very difficult to get sort of city labels, which is, I find, unhelpful. Also, I managed to pull some power out my throttle there, which was probably not ideal, because I don't want to crash. But I'm trying to, as far as I can... Oh, I'm looking straight in my crotch. Yeah, this is the cockpit view. It is frankly quite hard to use. I wouldn't recommend it, but you do get this nice window view if you fancy it. But yeah, in the third-person mode, it's quite easy. I mean, I'm playing with a controller. It's easy enough that you can play it with a controller. There's people who are lunatics who have ridiculous amounts of hardware and you know, fake cockpits they built on their desks to simulate the flying experience. This isn't that, but it's still just gorgeous. This is running on the highest graphical setting, by the way. I've got myself a 2080 Super in this machine, and it is really pulling excellent duty right now. The plane is yelling at me that I'm stalling, but it stopped yelling at me when I went too low and too fast, so I think it gives up on warning you eventually. So I can see in this, what I guess is sort of Peak District kind of town, we've got ourselves some kind of open strip mine. So if we're seeing industrial devastation living cheek by jowl with pre-industrial beauty, we must be getting in the right kind of direction. That looks like some kind of lake over there. Okay, so I've got a map up and we are flying over Carsington Water. I think I have been there. It's near Ashbourne. I used to go there a lot when I was growing up. If I wasn't in a stalling aircraft, it would probably be more beautiful to look at. The water effects are not the best bit of this game, frankly. It does look like blue leather. But, you know, now we've got our bearings, it'll be easier to find our way around. So what we need to do is take a turn around. This town that we're looking at down there, I think, is Wirksworth. So we are heading northeast towards Matlock, Chesterfield, and then we should be able to find our bearings out towards Sheffield with any luck. So if you have a look on the VFR map here, I'm heading over for this little body of water here first. That's Ogston Reservoir, which is just south of Claycross in Derbyshire. You'll have to ignore the game, by the way. I told it I was flying to Nottingham, but I decided to be more ambitious. Let's do a death-defying dive. I'll pull up when you let me have some fun, game. There appears to be some kind of large town down here, and I'm not sure what it is. I think that's Matlock. So there's a... So flying over Matlock Bath right now, there's a children's theme park down there called Gulliver's Kingdom that I used to go to a lot when I was a kid. I think that's it. Anyway, we're making decent progress now. Passed over Matlock, we should hit Chesterfield in just a few minutes. If I can just keep on this bearing, we should be alright. Just dial this in a bit. Going to drop the altitude a little bit so we can swoop over, see if they've got the famous twisted spire of Chesterfield rendered in. I suspect they won't. It probably wasn't high on their list of tourist attractions, but we'll see what we can find. And there we go, the relative urban sprawl of North Derbyshire over there in the distance, coming in just a couple of miles ahead of us. Really losing altitude swiftly now. 1,400 feet above sea level. And this is one of the hillier bits of the country, so we are not that high at all. Yep, so here we have Chesterfield, and we're looking for the sort of confluence of a couple of roads here. Remember, the centre of Chesterfield Town Centre is a little bit out of the way as to where you'd think it would be. If we follow the rail line, the spire is right near the station. And sadly, it looks like they haven't quite got it. Not that I can see anyway. There's the roundabout, that has a statue in the middle of it. We've just flown over a massive Tesco, if I recall. Colaston is a good direction for us to be heading, that's just south of Sheffield. We'll come in over Low Edges and Graves Park, swoop around and find my house in Broom Hill. Lovely, this is absolutely gorgeous. And without the expense of buying myself flying lessons, of course. So here is the village of Colaston, just outside of Dronfield, which I believe is down there. Don't crash, aeroplane. What's this here? Okay, no, this is it. This is Low Edges, Batemore and Jordanthorpe. They've got a big retail park here. Big ambitious housing project in the 1960s, now slightly sadly run down. It looks like I'm about to crash. Somehow I've survived this? Okay, so after that unfortunate incident, we are coming out of Leicester Airport, which apparently is a thing. Rather than East Midlands Airport, which is the one I grew up next to and I'm therefore more familiar with. Basically, this game's maps only operate on airports. It's a little bit unfortunate. So here we are flying over Bushby and Scrapped Off. These are the posher suburbs of Leicester. Recently locked down, of course, but now increasingly free to go about its business. The game's very insistent that you fly properly and don't use excessive airspeed, but I do not think that's why we play video games. Anyway, down there it looks like we've got corn, and heading over here we are going into Loughborough, which is where I went to school. Sadly for me. So down here we've got the industrial park and the station. There's this parking for the station. There's Brush, the transformer builders. I wonder if they've got the Carillion Tower. Should be over here. Yeah, they've got the university building. That's the university accommodation for the scientists, I believe. That tall, brutalist structure there. Down there, that campus is the college where I did my A-levels. Obviously, that's been in the news recently. I did not get screwed by an algorithm like they did. Keep following this road along. Roundabout here. Remember that there's a Pizza Hut down there, I believe. And if we keep following this road, the A6, over Shepshed, over there. And I think this is Hallen that we're flying over right now. Now, of course, East Midlands Airport is right there, which is why this is able to be navigated to, because I grew up on the unfortunate confluence of that airport, and that power station, and that motorway, in this tiny little village here. And I wonder if we can find my old house. Was over on this side of the village, I believe. It was a cul-de-sac. There we go. I see it. Yep. Where there's a little roundabout at the end of that street, I grew up right there. Power station there, not very realistic. It has cooling towers in real life, but they get the idea. If we head up here, we've got the Derby metropolitan area. You've got Ilkeston and Long Eaton. Beeston. I'll tell you when I'm overspeed plane. Here we are. There's obviously some epic ramps on that motorway. That's not there in real life. This game's just procedurally generated and can't quite work out what's happening at a precise level on the ground. But it works well enough. So down here we've got the Midland Main Line train line. This runs from London to Sheffield. So if we keep following it, eventually we should hit my beloved hometown. Okay, I lost concentration and I lost the train line. That wasn't ideal. Aha, so it looks like, yeah, we found those bodies of water around, I believe, Claycross there, and Chesterfield further up, so we're heading in the right direction. Just going to swoop around, keep following that train line. This is very much like that Harry Potter movie. I believe we're flying over Mansfield. Sorry, we've just flown over Alfreton. Mansfield is over that way. And coming up here is the town of Claycross, famously the hometown of firebrand MP Dennis Skinner. I say famously, it's just that nobody knows Clay Cross for anything else. So maintaining a steady 1800 feet as we swoop in over Chesterfield. And we should be at our destination in just a few minutes. Now for the best chance of spotting my house, I think we're going to have to come in on Sheffield from the east and swoop over towards the west. See how many landmarks we can spot along the way. So yep, here we are, Chesterfield in all its majesty stretching out below us. The spire should be about there, I believe, as we're looking right at the station and the college. It's nearly got it right. The Mega Tesco, of course. So now that we've got our bearings on Colaston, we should be able to gently work our way up towards Sheffield. See, there on the horizon, the Seven Hills, which people like to use as a very flimsy allusion to Rome. But you know what, in its own way, it is quite a majestic city. So this time, not crashing into Graves Park, just going to gently come in over the southeast suburbs. You'll see just behind that notification, we've got some tower blocks here in this valley. This is Gleedless Valley, part of a slightly space-age regeneration project, which is now a bit of a weird brutalist moonscape, but was considered quite inspired at the time, and still quite beautiful in its way. Yep, so Gleedless Valley tower blocks here. They're actually green in real life, of course. You know what, let's get things broadly right. So here we come over the city centre, right? So there's the station. That makes sense. You climb that hill, you get to the Owen building, which is sort of represented by that Lego brick there. You've got St Paul's Tower, which is there. Come over West Street and Division Street. We've got the hipster areas where I used to live. This here is not quite accurate, but it's the Arts Tower, which is the tallest university building in the UK. Students' Union down there, of course. Hallamshire Hospital. If we follow this road along, we're in the vicinity. Here's the Encliffe Village. That's the student village where first-year students live. So what we're looking for now, that's Encliffe Park down there, I believe. Oh, we're about to crash again. We do seem to be slowly emerging from a building, ladies and gentlemen. My co-pilot has pulled the throttle up to full and seems to be somehow avoiding us exploding. Okay, so this time I've decided that we're going to take off from Sheffield. Well, Doncaster Airport anyway. It likes to call itself Sheffield just for the name recognition. Nobody actually wants to fly to Doncaster. But what we can do is just fly low over the county and find our way to my house that way. And our destination is 46 miles that way. We are flying to Manchester. So if I didn't know any better, I'd say we're coming up on the Rotherham and Sheffield conurbation here. What we're going to try and do here is follow the sheaf. Or the Don, whichever one it is, I can't remember. Here we go, follow the train lines in. Here we are over Rotherham. Not much to see here. Obviously there's the Rotherham FC Stadium, or whatever they're called, Rotherham United. Are they called the Millers? Do I have that right? And this here, I've got water treatment in the east of Sheffield. And yeah, here's the famous double-decker motorway, and we got ourselves at the Meadowhall Shopping Centre, which I think is an absolute hole, but some people seem to quite like. Here we are over Darnell. I think there's an IKEA down here somewhere. I went for a job interview in a circus around here about a year and a half ago. Didn't get the job, hence I'm clowning around on YouTube instead. We just ease ourselves in here and find our way to the station. Here's the Park Hill Flats, looking brutalist and beautiful as ever. St Paul's Tower. If we pull over this way, we'll find ourselves to the university. So we've got the Arts Tower there, tallest university building in the UK, and we've got the Hicks building here as well. We just follow this road out here. This is Clark House Road below us. Hallamshire Hospital there, of course. And down here, this green patch, that's the Botanical Gardens. And I live just here, just there, as we ease ourselves past Endcliffe Park, my regular walking haunt, fly over Nick Clegg's old constituency of Sheffield Hallam. This is the poshest end of the city, of course. I'm called Robin, and I am named, I guess, indirectly after Robin Hood, who is originally Robin of Locksley, which is this little outpost on this hill over here. So there's Stannington with its tower blocks, and Hillsborough over there in the horizon. Let's do another pass of Sheffield. See if we can see anything else. This is Bole Hills Park down here, the Crosspool allotments, I believe. Across Bole Hills over here. This is Crooks, heavily sort of student area where I lived for a year for a time. We've got ourselves some more tower blocks down this way. This is Upperthorpe and the Ponderosa down here. Crooksmoor down here, another student area. Very good pub down there, the Hallamshire House. And yeah, we'll head back over the university. The Diamond is not here, sadly, but it's getting the essence of it. West Street down here is a kind of entertainment district. And there we go. That is the beautiful city of Sheffield from the air, badly rendered by a procedural generation algorithm. Looks quite nice on the, you know, on the first look though. There's the Sheffield United Stadium down there, Bramall Lane. If we, that big building is a big B&Q. We keep following the train line out. We'll fly over Mearsbrook, which is where I had my first job out of university. I believe right there in that row of offices there's a B&M Bargains there as well. So there we go, there we have it, and let's leave Sheffield for now and we'll head over to Manchester. So at a gentle cruising altitude of 4,000 feet we've just got to cruise over the Peak District and we'll see Manchester on the other side. Down here I believe is Lady Bower Reservoir, which is the main water supply for Sheffield. Which has some quite nice late Victorian, early 20th century brickwork keeping it all together. Dip low here over the Peak District, and looks like we're heading over, I think, Bamford and Hathersage, which I like to cycle to and from occasionally. Generally a very beautiful part of the world. If you've not been, I can highly recommend it. There's relatively good train services, and you will get absolutely no phone signal while you're there. Just having a lovely cruise over this valley, interrupted occasionally by the plane telling me I'm flying over speed. As we swoop over this landscape, it is just incredible what they've done with the satellite data. I know all the buildings aren't 100% there, and obviously they never could be, but 2 petabytes of data is absolutely brilliant just for getting the sheer scale of things. Because this isn't a big country, but from the air, it's quite majestic. So 15 miles out from Manchester Airport, we should be soon heading over outlying commuter towns like Glossop and New Mills. I believe that's what we're looking at down there. Soon enough we'll come into Stockport, and then it'll be Manchester proper. You'll see Manchester splayed out below us.
Manchester Tower Dare Alpha Sierra
Britain's
X-ray
second
Golf
city.
Sierra Alpha is 11 miles east with Mike to land.
Okay, and our landing crew in Manchester, who are curiously American, have given us a designated course. So we'll need to head into that landing pattern from over there. Unfortunately, my Manchester geography knowledge is not as good as my Sheffield knowledge, so I think we're looking at like Oldham and Rochdale over there, possibly. I've been there for by-elections, it wasn't much fun. Let's just start tipping our altitude in a downwards direction and start tilting towards this entry pattern. So here we go, entering the pattern, feeling a little bit like the Death Star trench run, still going too fast, got to drop our speed a little bit. I'll pull the throttle down a little bit and see if we can reduce our airspeed. Obviously diving increases the airspeed. So 8 miles to go. Let's try and level out. Airspeed dropping casually. Just going to pull the throttle way down. Obviously diving is not helping that. I think we'd better drop our landing gear. There they go. You can see them slowly expand out there. That obviously drastically drops our airspeed by increasing our drag. Not too bad. We need to be. I don't know what speed we need to be when we're heading into the airport. I'm a little bit worried we are potentially losing airspeed too quickly, but I can definitely see the runway coming up there. 3 miles to go. So we've flown over Manchester proper now. We're looking at, I believe, Trafford down below us. Places like Bowden. I'm not sure that's right next to the airport. It's just where a friend of mine is from. So we need to be down at 104 knots during approach. Okay. Well, I'm not sure how we can slow down much, because we've pulled the throttle down to 0 and the landing gear's down. Okay. We're on track, though, I think. Okay, extend flaps for landing. Okay, and that should pull our speed down. Okay, flaps haven't extended. That's not ideal. But we've dropped our speed. We're not quite at the recommended 104. But 130 we can probably do. Oh. Come on, down we go. Bring her down, bring her down. Nearly there. And come on, come on. I know airspeed low. I'm trying to bring the airspeed down.
Air Golf Sierra Alpha exit runway when able.
There we go. We have successfully landed. And my flaps, my propeller won't slow down, which is not ideal because I need to taxi. Reduce speed to 15. I mean, I'm probably going slower than 15 knots, but I have a feeling I'm about to roll onto the grass. Even if I pull the throttle up, can I not move? There we go. Now throttle down.
Air Golf Sierra Alpha.
Okay.
Contact.
I am on the grass, but I am driving on the grass rather than flying on the grass. So I feel like that's a step in the right direction. So just need to taxi over to the tower over there. Okay, we now seem to be stuck. There is the small problem that we're stuck on the lawn. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call that a success. We've made it to the airport, our plane is not in multiple pieces, and I'm not dead. So I feel like, as planes go, that's a relatively good place to be. So, as we sit, waiting for collection from the lawn at Manchester Airport, thank you very much for watching. If you've got a suggestion for where I can fly next, I am very into Flight Simulator, so if you've got any major suggestions for fun places I can go and things I can see, do let me know. And in the meantime, I've been Robin, this has been Digital Wilds, and this has been the absolutely wonderful Flight Simulator. I'll see you next time.